No, if you're interested in financial matters, you've got to have something to work with. I mean, I was fortunate in that respect because my dad paid for my education. If he hadn't, I probably wouldn't have become educated if I had to pay for it myself. But so I was able to save $10,000 by the time I was 21.
Have you ever pictured in your mind what $1 million or $1 billion would look like? Let's say this check mark is $1 million. This is what $100 million would look like. And this is what $1 billion would look like. Warren Buffett has a net worth of 115 times this number. Elon Musk, 256 times this number. And then there's you, watching this video right now. Your net worth is probably nowhere near the first check mark. You're probably working at a job at a local company. You probably don't have much cash in savings. In fact, you probably have credit card debts and ridiculously high living expenses to deal with. Or maybe you're a student studying for a degree, and you hope one day to get a job that liberates you from your financial crisis. But all you have now is a pesky student loan debt hanging over your head. Right now, the idea of becoming rich seems like a fairy tale. You constantly ask yourself, how do they do it? Seeing so many young millionaires and billionaires baffles you, and maybe it even makes you angry. You feel like these guys were just born lucky, or they cheated their way to that sweet spot at the top, or their money is evil, or you're not smart enough. And so, those childhood dreams you had of traveling around the world, getting a Lambo, traveling to space, they're all in your head, never going to happen. You finally realize that life isn't fair. The game has been rigged right from the start. Unfortunately, you ended up on the losing side, right? But what if I told you you were wrong? What if I told you that there's a secret, an actual formula to wealth that you were never taught in school? What if I told you those wild dreams of yours could still come true? Do you think I'm bluffing? I'm not. I promise you, by the end of this video, you'll find out that there is a piece of the puzzle you've been missing all along. But I must warn you, the journey isn't going to be a smooth one. It's a road filled with ups and downs, and you'll have to swallow some red pills that the school and society have kept away from you all this time. I bet many of you won't make it to the end of this road, but for those of you who do, you'll find what you're looking for. Wealth beyond your wildest dreams. You'll never have to worry about money again. Like Warren Buffett once said, someone's sitting in the shade today because someone planted a tree a long time ago. So, are you ready to plant your tree? Then let's not waste any time. Chapter 1. The Lies the System Has Fed You. If I asked you in your own terms to describe money, what would you say? The root of all evil? Or something we work for to pay the bills? Or something you've been chasing your whole life? In any case, I can assure you that your idea of money up until now has been largely influenced by two factors: your upbringing and your environment. These two sources are where most of us pick up false beliefs about money. Plus, the fact that our schools don't teach us about money doesn't help things either. And so, our journey to unwinding the mystery of wealth starts here. We will have to change the way you've been viewing money your entire life. You see, Hollywood especially has always depicted the rich as evil, crooked, and corrupt individuals. And I'm sure you may have bought into that stereotype at least once or twice. But is this really true? Here's another perspective, a teaser from the famous billionaire Charlie Munger. The iron rule of nature is, you get what you reward for. If you want ants to come, you put sugar on the floor.
That was the secret. How much money? Warren and I had tiny little bits of money. We always underspent our incomes and we invested and if you live long enough, you end up rich. It's not very complicated.
And here's the kicker. Recent statistics from WealthX have shown that out of all the billionaires we have today, over 68% were self-made. So let's take a countdown, shall we? Warren Buffett, self-made billionaire. Elon Musk, self-made. Robert Kiyosaki, self-made. Jeff Bezos, self-made. Sarah Blakely, self-made billionaire. The list goes on and on. And this makes you wonder, what do these people know that I don't? Well, here's the outdated money equation you've been running with all your life. You believe money is the direct product of a job's salary. And so you work your ass off to get a degree and work even harder at a job. But let me be frank with you. I believe you're watching this video to learn how to make lots of money and in a very short time too. If that's your goal, then this money equation will never get you there, and I'll tell you why. You see, we all have one precious resource, something more valuable than money, something you can never get back once it's gone. That thing is time. Like Warren Buffett would say, time is the friend of the wonderful company and the enemy of the mediocre.
I mean, I can buy anything I want, basically, but I can't buy time.
In a typical job, the amount of money you make is equivalent to the amount of time you put into the job. So let's assume you're earning $30 per hour and working 40 hours per week. It would take you almost 17 years to make $1 million. And that is, of course, if you don't subtract expenses, not to mention tax. This is the reality of anyone who works a job. By the time you finally make $1 million, time has slipped away. You're left to enjoy your hard-earned savings with a washed-up version of yourself. No vigor and joy of youth. And so this leads us back to the big question. How do these guys become self-made millionaires and billionaires at such a young age? What makes them so different? Well, the simple truth is that they have a far better understanding of money than you. Well, at least until now. Chapter 2: The Secret to Wealth. Now, this is where I would advise you to pay very close attention. One thing you must do is stop chasing money. The rules of the game are simple. You get paid according to your perceived value in the market. Warren Buffett put it best when he said, "Price is what you pay. Value is what you get." The market will always pay the right price for your perceived value. The market could be your friends, customers, family, neighbors, or anyone. Have you ever wondered why footballers are paid outrageous salaries? It's all because of the perceived value of football. Imagine a game that is loved and cherished by billions of people all over the world. What do you think will happen to the players who are the pillars of the sport and stay on top of the game? They will be compensated handsomely, of course. The same rule applies to all other disciplines in life. The man with the higher perceived value will always win the big bag, even if he isn't doing much work. The manager would always enjoy 10 times what a basic employee would enjoy because of his perceived value by the company. But then again, we've already established that the job formula is not the way to go. At least not if you intend to make great wealth in a short amount of time. So then, how do we increase our perceived value? How did men like Warren Buffett, Charlie Munger, and Jeff Bezos do it? It's pretty simple. Solve problems. Take a second to think about this. You see, money will always be thrown at solutions to problems. If you solve $1 million problem, you'll end up with millions. If it's $1 billion problem you solved, you'll end up with billions. Let's take classic examples. Elon Musk's PayPal solved the problem of seamless online payments, and he got rewarded handsomely for it, as millions of people worldwide use the service. But I must admit, you'll have to take a risk here. In fact, what you do may seem foolish to some people, but just like Warren Buffett would say, risk comes from not knowing what you are doing.
You've had a chance to see how stupid you were in all kinds of things you did. Why not have the second half of your life be better than the first half?
And so the rule remains, never chase money. In fact, don't look for money. Look for problems to solve. Once you find a problem and have a solution, do a business around the solution, and money will look for you. I'm sure right now you're probably wondering, is that all? Will just solving a problem make money magically appear in my wallet? Must I create the next Facebook or Amazon to be rich? I don't have the skills. I don't have the time. I don't have the money. I can't write codes. I don't. Hold on. You're going down that same old rabbit hole again. That pattern of thinking that will keep you poor. Just start with identifying a problem first. Listen to the market around you. What do people in your field say they don't like? Or what do they constantly wish for? Check if that problem is something you can solve. But more importantly, check if it's a problem worth solving. Chapter 3. Problems worth solving. The final step of this wealth equation is to scale up your solution. The truth is, if your solution is only affecting a small number of people, your rewards will be small. Opening up a shop in your locality to solve a problem isn't very scalable because you're confined to a location. But if you can transform that store into an online franchise, then now you're talking scalable solutions. You can scale up things like these infinitely, something you could never do with your 9-to-5 jobs. But I must advise you to be careful. Make sure your solution does not demand your time before it brings money. If you're walking other people's dogs in your neighborhood for $150 per hour, then I'm sorry, you just got another job disguised as a business. You're still not in the game because there are only 24 hours in a day, and the amount of money you can earn is limited. So what am I saying? Automation is very important. That business should run without your input, like a smooth machine. Also, remember this quote from Warren Buffett. The worst sort of business is one that grows rapidly, requires significant capital to engender the growth, and then earns little or no money. And the best business is one that...
The ideal business is one that earns very high returns on capital and can keep using lots of capital at those high returns. I mean, that becomes a compounding machine. So if you have your choice, if you could put $100 million into a business that earns 20% on that capital, say 20 million, ideally it would be able to earn 20% on 120 million the following year and 144 million the following year, and so on.
And so, if there's something that you can outsource, do it. If it demands an employee or assistant, get one. Never form the bad habit of wanting to do everything yourself. You or your business will crash sooner or later. There's always someone out there who can help you do a better job and scale up faster. But know that once you find your solution, it's up to you to make it accessible to everyone in your market. Remember, you must put your ego and passions aside. We're talking about money here. You must get things running and working seamlessly before the rewards will start pouring in. This leads us to our next point. Chapter 4. The Rewards. At this point, when you've made a business out of your solution, one of two things will happen. You either continue running this business and making profits, or cash in and sell it. This is the buyout option, like how Elon Musk sold PayPal for $1.5 billion, or how Mark Zuckerberg bought WhatsApp for $19 billion. It's all up to you at this stage. Whether you decide to sell out and retire rich, or stick to the business out of your love and attachment to it, it's your choice. Either way, you did it. You cracked the code, you solved a problem, and got rewarded handsomely. And so now I must ask you, what was it all for anyway? Chapter 5. Your Life for Money. The Truth. You see, for most of you watching this video, it was never really about the money from the start. And Warren Buffett knows this too.
If I could spend $100 million on a house and make me a lot happier, I'd do it. But for me, that's the happiest house in the world. And it's because it's got memories and people come back and all that sort of thing. So I am doing what I love to do with people I love. And it doesn't get any better than that.
Come on, money is just a piece of paper. It's only valuable so long as people perceive its value. And so this paper was never the main issue here. The main issue was freedom. Traveling around the world with your dream car. Going on a vacation to a chill island. Buying whatever you want without worrying about going bankrupt. That's the true desire and the reality you're looking for. It's the very thing that makes us all chase after that paper. And unfortunately, many of us end up in the rat race. And so, I must tell you the most valuable lesson to learn from this video. It was never about the money. It was about the one valuable resource I talked about at the beginning of this video. Time. Is giving 8 hours of your life every day to a job you don't like worth it? Is your life all about going to work and watching Netflix when you return? How many more years of your life will you let waste away because of this pattern? Or maybe you feel like you have no choice. This is the life you were born into. Well, in that case, farewell. At least you must have gotten entertained or hyped up with this video. But I'm sure there are most of you who are like me now, who understand the other side and wish to live a life free of financial burdens. A life where you never have to worry about money ever again. And so, I leave this reminder for you. Stop chasing money, chase problems, and then solve them.